Blue, I'm recording.
Right. I'll follow your lead. We'll see what happens.
See what happens. So.
Okay, so.
So yeah, today we've got some coatings from Gtechniq here. Thank you very much for supplying these. And again, thanks very much for getting into this, to Lake Country for organising this. So hopefully Kelly can take over a little bit more and talk through these. I know of Gtechniq, I've used some products like the shampoos, but I've never applied any of the ceramics. So yeah, can you tell us what we've got here?
So let's start with what we're actually going to apply to your car, which is this product here. So that's Crystal Serum Ultra. Now, I'm sure you're aware that's a Gtechniq accredited only application. So you're getting a perk that actually you're going to get the best of the best applied to the car. Now, I'm sure you're aware as well, Gtechniq make Crystal Serum Light.
Yes.
So that's the non-accredited, so that's a consumer. So you could go to a shop or online and you could buy Crystal Serum Light. Because we're accredited, we get the choice of having the best or the long-lasting, most durable product. So people get confused, and we have emails or phone calls, oh, I want Crystal Serum Light. We're like, look, that's the consumer, this is the professional use. So later on, we'll show you what we do, how we apply it, and how complex it can be, or how easy it is to make a mistake.
Yes.
Because, by the way, it's true, when I first did tests years ago on this product, and there was this, people thought it was a myth, the only way to remove Crystal Serum Ultra was to wet sand.
Yeah, I remember that.
I've got loads of training test panels in this building. We have literally deliberately left it on thick, left it overnight, and that is actually true. Polishing actually follows the form of the sort of pattern it's left.
Yes.
So you cannot remove it unless you shave it down. So technically that's correct. You need to use sandpaper or wet sand to remove it, but that's only if you really deliberately put it on thick.
Yes.
But it's real. Now, let's go to a very old school, traditional, as Jay, my cameraman calls it, legacy product, C1. That product, if I was to apply it badly, I wouldn't do it on purpose obviously, but if we applied it badly and there was a smear or patch, I could remove that, and I have a window of opportunity for where it's curing to fix the problem.
Yeah.
That might be just put more product on or use some sort of alcohol or panel wipe.
Yeah.
So while that's curing, we have time to fix it.
That's probably something that I've used similar in the past from other brands.
Yeah, so that's going to be a consumer safe product. Now, if we have a little bit of a history lesson, I don't know if it's about 9 years ago, 8 years ago, whenever Crystal Serum come out, they changed the formula of this slightly because this was accredited only before accredited was around. It was like professional use. And that was also just similar to Crystal Serum Ultra. When you put it on, it flashed very fast, cured, and if you left the patch, the only way to remove it was to polish it. So that's slightly changed. So obviously this has come along, the Crystal Serum Ultra, but then they've got their middle one, which I haven't actually got here, is the Crystal Serum Light. So this one is a hard wearing layer that's going to put on a coating that's going to be sort of help with swell resistancy, but it's not really engineered to do a great beading effect or hydrophobic. Yeah. So what we've got, this brings on to EXO. Now, according to Gtechniq, this is one of their most popular products, the EXO, and this is version 4 now. We've been in development or let's say we've helped develop the different versions.
Yes.
I'm going to ask the cameraman now, and he may or may not remember. Can we remember what one was the Enzo, where we put V3? Yep, so it's V3.
Yep.
So, and then we had V4. Was that the Enzo again? Or was it the 3.5? I can't remember. But we'll always have a supercar. There's always a supercar that we launch. So weirdly, instead of tests, we've already done tests on test panels.
Yep.
So when it actually becomes a physical reselling product in a proper bottle.
It's ended up on some £1 million.
Correct, yeah. So we're on, this is V4, EXO V4. Yep. So the reason why the formulas is they've engineered and developed and improved from feedback from version 1 to version 4.
Yep.
So what is EXO? This is literally a chemical resistant and hydrophobic function. That's all it is. So you wouldn't put it on a car and help, say, your car reduce its swells from washing.
Yeah.
That is just be like your old-fashioned wax in a way that it's slippery, it repels dirt, and it beads well.
Yes.
But it's a wax or sealant, any of these nano coatings, on steroids, really.
Yeah.
They're quite hard to remove. So chemically, you'd struggle to remove that.
Yes.
But that would abrade off quite easily.
So what's the life of this roughly for a daily driven car?
I would say 12 months to 18 months on a very regularly driven car that's washed a lot.
A wax, you're normally going to get 3 to 6 months, depending on the wax.
Max. My tests
I've never had 6 months from a wax.
No.
3 to 6 months on a wax, apparently. So this, as you say, is on steroids.
So this is a different product in that it's not becoming part of the paint, which is a very loose term or a bit of chemistry here. So especially something like Crystal Serum Ultra, you'll see when we see what Ash is doing, how he's applying it. This will flash off within minutes. Sometimes it depends on the temperature, humidity, there's many variables. Can be 30 seconds, 60 seconds. Right, it's cured. And if you went over a very strong alcohol or Gtechniq's own panel wipe, which is very strong, you try and remove it. You're not going to remove it. It's become part of the paint. Yeah. So that, the only way to wear that down is with abrasion as well. But so this product, the C1, has no real chemical stain resistancy. So ideally, we would recommend for consumers, you would use C1 on your paint and then a coat of Exo over the top.
Yes.
So you've got the hard wearing layer and then you've got the hydrophobic repellency layer. What is slightly unique about Crystal Serum Ultra is it does have an all-in-one. So I said earlier it's like shampoo and conditioner. This is shampoo and conditioner in one. So that has a hard wearing layer and it also has a sort of slipperiness and a repellency for beading. So you could use it as a standalone. We've always done here as KDS and probably going to guess now, not with Crystal Serum Ultra because obviously it's come on later. I believe, I know we've done over 3,000 cars. I'm going to say 2,800, 2,600 cars have had Gtechniq on them, maybe more, because it was I was Gtechniq very early on. I'd only been trading for about a year, and I was on my own then instead of 5 staff, so I would have done a lot less cars to now. So we've got pretty much every single one of their customers with the best Gtechniq products they have. So what we do here, we would put Crystal Serum Ultra on, and then 2 coats of Exo. So we're really, really ramping up the protection now.
Why not? I've discovered, this is day 3 of being here now, your philosophy is it can't do any harm on quite a lot of, it's an extra barrier.
Someone will put, if you want that on your car, we would always say put Exo as well, because it's got a better repellency than the standalone. But there are people that buy Exo just on their own, and it's going to just make the car easy to wash and protect. Beading, if you really want to get into hydrophobic functions of little round beads, I believe I've never seen a wax or a sealant, and I've got a lot of waxes and sealants in stock from years ago. Some of them are very expensive. We are talking £2,000-3,000 wax tubs. I haven't shown you because I didn't want you to get geeky. We can if you want.
Imagine what they might be,
but so those will still never bead like Nano Coatings do. They will never have the slipperiness of Nano Coatings. This is a new technology. I always describe it as waxes were like your everyday car. Hybrid waxes and sealants were sort of like a sort of fast car, a Nissan GTR. Then some of your specialist sealants might be a bit like a Caterham, so they're harder to use, harder to drive. And this is like real silly analogy, but F1 cars. So some of these products here are very difficult to use, and the consequences are quite dramatic. So you drive down a road in an F1 car and try and drive it, you're going to probably crash. So if you try and do that without any training or knowledge or experience, it's probably going to go wrong. The experience is going to be awful. Waxes are like everybody can use them. Very simple, very easy. Some people enjoy it.
That's a therapeutic on a weekend,
Sealants are more difficult. Then you get to the Nano Coatings. You're up really at the skill level where, personally, I would not like to do a car like yours, which we've now established isn't that soft. It's not typically Japanese. We had a conversation, it's probably made in this country.
We think so,
And it's a Toyota, really. So it's a sort of rebadged car. So that isn't as soft as we expected, and you've got quite a lot of metallic in the colour. So it's not going to be the hardest car to do outside. The Porsche behind us, which is solid black, I would really hate to try and apply any of these outdoors because it's very soft paint, very easy to see.
And really, any ceramic, I think you're applying, if you can, you really do need to be in a garage.
Ideally.
You really do. with most things, if you can get indoors in a controlled
But the
environment.
reason why I'm saying to be in a garage is literally we'll bring onto applicators now perfectly. If I was to buy this product, if I said to my brother or one of my family or friend, put that on, it's going to protect your car. It is brilliantly. You get a longevity of curing time. So in other words, you get a chance to buff it and check it.
Yeah.
If you aren't really bothered about how well it's been applied, there might be a smear, and you just want it for protection, do it outdoors.
Yeah.
Literally, there's that consequence, and the fallout, the dust in the air, as you're applying a coating, will be putting microscopic marring in.
Yes.
We had a discussion, you might not be able to see it unless you've got a microscope, but on a black car you will. So my recommendation here, and top tip, and Ashley behind, is using just plain old brand new microfiber cloths cut up to apply. And the simple reason I'll briefly go over this, because I have made a video explaining all this in a past video for KDS. You've seen the suede blocks, you know, where you put the micro suede over the top. Some people use makeup applicators.
I've seen those mainly for glass and these are safe for
and then
paintwork.
you've got these ones with a sponge inside. All I think of all the time is contamination. I mean, you've seen that as we've cleaned down the car. The process of how long we was after polishing it, of cleaning it down for hours. It's simply to remove any dirt and dust from all the nooks and crannies and edges, so that when I drag an applicator across, I don't want to pick up the debris and dirt, rub it across your paint, put marks back in, which we just spent a long time, because how long was it, 9 o'clock Monday?
9 o'clock Monday night, and then all four of us yesterday polishing.
So why would you undo your work? So that's a go-to. A lot of nano coating companies recommend that. For me, if dirt lands on that surface, it can't go anywhere, so it's going to rub the surface. That's the simple form. Then you can argue about the hard pressure points on a curve. You're digging in more. So that's the same theory, that it's very thin, it's not very plush. Even though this is soft and spongy, so at least it can push in, it can't suck the dirt away, it lands on the surface. So technically, if you've got a perfectly clean environment, and it's like in here,
you should be fine.
They'll all be fine. This is sort of a tip, that if you was going to do it in a bit of a compromised situation, it could be in a dusty garage or it's windy. If you was to use a microfiber cloth and just cut them into little squares, and you do rub over the surface, any dirt and debris is more likely to be sucked away from the surface. So it's less marring potential on the surface. One of the downsides, I'm sure Gtechniq love me to say this, is obviously the amount of product that will be soaked into that when you pour onto the applicator is minimal compared to this. This will absolutely suck up the product. So you get quite a lot of product, almost priming like you would a polishing pad. You're priming up that applicator to saturate it before you apply it. Now, you'll see earlier, Ashley's cut lots of these up to do the car. We'll either look at the applicator while applying to see if there's any dirt and debris on there. Being this colour, it's easy to see the dirt. I caught you yesterday picking, I think, at the app because your habit.
It's just like
So you've got the eye for detail, but we would also change these maybe every 2 panels. So then we're even wasted even more product as such. Now the reason why I do that, if I put these products on, it does crystallise. It starts to toughen up. And if we put a product on and leave this long enough today, this becomes not cardboard, but quite rigid. So again, going back from years ago when I was using C1, the original C1, it crystallised much faster. And what we was noticing was, if you use one applicator around the car, you had like this minute zigzag marks, have you applied it? Very faint. And then we realised you told the cloth and it felt like glass, had shards of glass in there. So all of that is just controlling contamination. So you're thinking of, if it's curing fast, change the applicator. So if we go back to something like Exo that has a very slow curing time, now you might understand why, for a consumer, they might have slowed the process down and the durability, which is why ideally you should leave that 12 hours before it gets wet. Something like Crystal Serum Ultra cures so fast, you could technically get it wet an hour later and it shouldn't really harm it because it's done its curing. And that would be the same, not just for Gtechniq. For what I know of all other nano coatings, they might have a different range of products that do a similar thing. And the reason why one's consumer, one's professional, it might not actually be the durability, it might just be the speed of application.
It's the window of time you've got,
And it's as simple as that, really. Now, we might as well, should we go and look at Ashley? Should we go and have a look?
And see how he's doing. And
let's go and have a look. How's it going, Ash?
Surprisingly easy.
So if you see here, now, for me, I've seen this thousands of times. It might be worth saying, do you notice anything? Do you think there's a lot being put on or not?
That is a lot compared to what I put on, how I've done it.
So,
I've always been conservative, I think.
So this is the biggest bugbear I've had with any brand of nano coating, and talking to many brands, and obviously I've worked a lot with Gtechniq over the years, and also seeing not customers of ours that might have become our customers, where they've been disappointed with the performance of a brand. Might not just be Gtechniq, might be other, but nano coatings or ceramic coatings. When we are talking about nano coatings, aren't these spray-on water pretending to be proper?
Bottles.
And there's been a lot of disappointed people, and I've read and hear about disappointed people on forums and social media saying they don't work, where we've had 100% success. So I actually put plenty on there,
Definitely, yeah,
to make sure the entire panel's covered. Because what I find an issue is when we've heard about other people training, or I've had when I'm teaching and I put the coating on, I ask them to put it on, they put like a zigzag, and then the buff cloth, as it's smearing across, they believe it's applied to all the mist areas. And when I've seen them cars damp and wet, you literally see the zigzag and you don't see a good performance. So as far as I'm concerned, we fully load the applicator.
It's saturated that panel as well.
And if you see, even actually there, he's done it in sections, the wing. So he did the top half and made a line across the swage line. And look how he's drawn around the edge of the box and then filled the gap in completely. So let's talk about the buffing. The first buff, that has not removed all the product. He's taking some of the product away, then it's a flip of the cloth, and it's a light but very fast moving buff, and then there'll be a third buff, then he'll check. So he's flipped the cloth again, and then he's going to check. If you don't flip the cloth enough, what happens is you can wipe over to here and reapply. And remember what we said, if that's where we're saying, and I don't know if you noticed there while I was talking, he's actually buffed further each time. So he started at the wing, then he went further and further. This is now in water to slow down the crystallisation. And now he's going to check with a completely new cloth. This is the fourth buff, and with a light source, and checking for any smears, because he's getting close to the end of the opportunity, the window of being able to remove the smears. And with a product like this, if that's got a smear on there now, we'd have to quickly get the polisher out and repolish. If it was a very thick over buff, so he's put it on and pushed too far and left a big smear here, and then focused just on the wing and left that there, and it was a really big smudge, that could easily be a wet sand process. That could literally be wet sanding. So that's when we said it would be too much and that would be too thick to try and polish. So you can see why we've got lots of cloths going over and over and over. So Ashley, this would be a good one now because the bumper, would you like to lift it more, or you're happy that's height?
I can go higher.
Because you can see that the nice thing about having the ramp here, it makes it very easy to see what we're doing, the angles of the light. It'd be lovely to have everyone to have one of these, wouldn't it? So if you come around the front here, you better see. We'll stand here, you'll be able to see when he starts. He's going to section that bumper literally into little sections. So instead of trying to do it all in one go, he's going to literally, I said at the beginning on the washing about edges of boxes, and making boxes, and we did the same with polishing. So he's going to treat that as a swage line there. Now, the experience tells us if this had medium solid clear coat, softer clear coat, less dense clear coat, like a typical Japanese car, and that had no metallic in there, there's a chance we would make that section smaller. Because we don't want to run into a problem where literally the product almost sucks and stops and cures. So fortunately, we think it's almost painted in England. It's not got the typical Japanese paint. He has longer times so he's gone slightly bigger, but that's experience. My advice would be, of any person putting nano coating on, don't go big. Do it in smaller sections, smaller bite size. It's going to be safer.
Probably do what I've done the whole time. Really is small. I can't remember what the most manufacturers put, like 2 foot by 2 foot sections. Quite surprised how much you put on.
So for us, we do put a lot on. I've spoke to people that try and make a bottle do 2 cars because of the cost. But then they also tell me they're struggling for people. This is pros now, pro detailers that offer this type of service. They struggle to get repeat business. And then I've been teaching people and they've gone, how would you have such a long waiting list? And then when I'm like, well, this is interesting because you can tell they're decent characters with the right empathy that have come to me to pay for me to train. They want to learn the best. Yeah. And it's interesting how we get to this subject and they're like, oh my God, how much product are you using? And I'm like, well, you're telling me that the coating is not working very well. You're not applying it very well. And then normally the normal thing comes up, look how much it is, the cost. But that's a small price to pay for a product working for years. That means you don't technically get repeat business until they sell the car and buy another car. But the recommendation is brilliant because it works. This is pretty much, I'm not claiming lifetime, but probably in the lifetime you own this car.
Definitely for me, yes.
For most customers, this is life for your ownership of this car. So do it properly.
Could very well be the life for the actual car as well.
So you can see like how long Ash has been. So we would be, depends on the shape of the car, the colour of the car, how hard or soft the paint is. It's a 2-hour process. On a big car, really tricky shapes, on a Lamborghini or something, all the intricate shapes, it could be 3 hours. Yeah. Then you get a small car actually imagine getting like a little Mini or something in white.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. It's going to be 45 minutes an hour. So when you see and read about people say it takes this long, you can't say that because it
varies.
If I was to do that Porsche, you would definitely be sweating with fear and panicky of...
I'll be more than happy for you to do it.
So, because that's a much harder job to do than it is on your car. Yeah. Just because of the density of the clear coat and its solid black hands got metallic. Nothing to do, really, it's a Porsche. It just happens to be it's got soft paint. Yeah. So, we was worried this might be tricky, but you're fortunate. So we've gone for the Crystal Serum Ultra because you're going home today.
I am.
So we need something to cure fast. Yeah. So because you can't stay another day, fortunately, you get the best product. Lucky you.
I actually didn't think I'd get it. So, and hopefully we think, if it comes in time, we may have the XOV5. May.
You may be the first person, yes, to ever sample XOV5. I would normally put it on training panels, test panels, or a customer's car. And like I said earlier, it's been a Ferrari. I think it's been a 355. The Enzo might have been twice. I think it had 2 versions. So, yeah.
Super Suzuki.
Supercar again, a Super Suzuki.
So shall we take a quick look at this Porsche?
Yeah, let's have a look.
This has got the same stuff on here.
As I said, when you arrived here, this wasn't planned. I don't know if you had any B-roll footage at all.
I've got some B-roll of this wheel here. Was on the floor. So I don't know where the wheel's gone, but it's been in for a refurb, hasn't it?
So basically, this car has not been in. It might look like it's just been corrected. Yep. It has not been in for a correction. And when this was booked in, and Jay would have served, it had no relationship to you coming down. Yeah, it's just here. And the only thing this car's actually been here for really is he had a puncture and had the puncture fixed and they damaged his wheel, putting the tyre back on. Right. So it come back here for us to store the car, to have the wheel refurb next door. So it was that wheel. So of course, to store in his car, we said we'll do a valet wash, a sort of top up clean. So this was June, I think it was 2018. Yep, Jay's nodding because he knows. So June 2018, we were done the same process as what you've got on your car. Yes, it's a slight, well, it's not a garage queen. We found out it's a barn queen. It's a barn queen. But as we told you, when he drives this, he drives it to a racetrack and drives it hard. Yeah. And we've washed it. So it's over 3 years ago that we detailed this car and put exactly the same products as what you're having on. Well, it depends if we end up with V5. If it arrives in time in the post for this afternoon. If not, it's going to have V4, which is what this is at. Well. So yeah, that car was literally, we've washed it. You know, that's all we've done. So if there's ever proof, we've done no sort of top-up sprays or any sort of particular cleaning. It's just had a valet, wash, and then hoover the interior and clean the glass. You could think that's just been done. Yeah,
doesn't want men.
It's
just a bit of surface stuff sitting around in here.
Yeah, that just tells you how detailing does work,
Yeah.
detailing does last, and I'm going to categorise it as detailing because there's people that think it's a waste of time, a waste of money, it doesn't last, and then there's always got questions from people booking, how long is my car going to look shiny for?
Yeah.
How long is it going to bead for? And that's in the days of waxing, and we didn't know about fillers and alcohol and IPA or wipe downs, you know, so things were looking worse 3 months later. Here's proof that I don't see any reason why another 2, 3, 4 years, so 6 years after we first applied it, maybe 7, it's still going to look like this.
And I know what some people will be thinking. They'll be thinking this is, as you said, a barn queen, garage queen. But hopefully then if you are subscribed to this channel, this is a new car. I'm going to have this for about 3 or 4 years. So yeah, bit of a diary really. You guys can come back, you can watch this video now, and some point in the future just keep watching the maintenance on that, and hopefully that will still look like this does now in 3 years time.
That's going to be, I think, the most interesting part about this whole process, is because
Just
obviously
one standard car.
you as a customer are not our customer.
Yeah.
We would never be doing a car like that you know enough about detailing to then book in with us. They would do it themselves.
Yes.
This guy, his customer is Porsche, he doesn't know about detailing, he just knows this product and his own reputation of us, of Gtechniq. So actually, we don't get much feedback apart from the car turns up working.
That's because the customer doesn't know, or maybe not that interested. They just want it protected and looking its best. Like I said, people like me, I'm here because I'm just here for YouTube.
But you've got a lot of knowledge, so you could give us and Gtechniq great feedback of you're going to really love that car, and you know, vlog and diary it and wash it, and you'll be able to see what the performance is like, and it's your real world experience. We don't have a YouTuber that we just done their car that knows about detailing, so this is a new thing for us as well. So that's half the reason we're going with Crystal Serum Ultra, because that's what we only apply to our customers' cars, and it's great feedback for us. And obviously, it's going to be I think it's going to be really interesting. And I'm more interested in watching the progress of maintenance wash, you know, than actually you showing me about Hoover, because we know.
Yeah.
So I'm now going to really want to watch your channel just because I want to see.
So I've got at least 3 new subscribers today then. So maybe two.
We've established, I think Ashley probably won't be watching.
No, he watches people playing video games.
Yeah.
So
what we have got to do, we might as well wrap this up, is later on after Ashley's put the serum on, we've then obviously got to treat your glass.
Yes.
So there's a few more little tricks and tips. We'll do the glass coating, we'll do like the plastics, and then obviously later on this afternoon it's XOV4 or
maybe V5.
V5, yeah, and I can dash off and do a phone call. Do you know if this is coming, or see if we can find out?
Yeah, so thanks very much for watching, guys. We'll show you some more clips of this Porsche in just a moment. If you enjoyed this video, as always, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, make sure you do subscribe. You can keep an eye out on the Suzuki and how this product performs over the next 3 or 4 years. So yeah, thanks very much, Kelly and Ash, for applying that, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.